The gentleman from Maryland asked a question in terms of what you would expect this committee to do in our body of work. The Sergeant Grinnell responded, but we didn't give the other three members an opportunity to kind of tell us, based on the last 202 days of your life, what would you task this committee in its body of work? What would you like to see us do? Officer Fanone, I'll start with you.
Yes, sir. So while I understand that there have been investigations into the events of January 6th, my understanding is that those have addressed some of the micro level concerns, that being the immediate security of the Capitol building itself, also the forced mobilization of officers that day, planning and preparation, and training and equipment concerns. A lot of, the events of January 6th and the days preceding, I guess it's interesting, and from a law enforcement perspective, as a police officer, a lot of these events happen in plain sight. We had violent political rhetoric. We had the organization of a rally whose title was Stop the Steal. And that rally occurred on January 6th, which I don't believe was a coincidence that on January 6th, members of Congress, you here in the room today, were charged with tallying the electoral votes and certifying the election of our president. And in the academy, we learn about time, place, and circumstance in investigating potential crimes and those who may have committed them. And so the time, the place, and the circumstances of that rally, that rhetoric, and those events, to me, leads in the direction of our president and other members, not only of Congress and the Senate, but that is what I am looking for, is an investigation into those actions and activities which may have resulted in the events of January 6th, and also whether or not there was collaboration between those members, their staff, and these terrorists.
Thank you very much. Officer Hodges.
I think Fanone hit the nail on the head there. As patrol officers, we can only, deal with the crimes that happen on the streets, the misdemeanors, and occasionally the violent felonies. But you guys are the only ones we've got to deal with crimes that occur above us. I need you guys to address if anyone in power had a role in this, if anyone in power coordinated or aided or abetted or tried to downplay, tried to prevent the investigation of this terrorist attack, because we can't do it. We're not allowed to. And I think the majority of Americans are really looking forward to that as well.
Thank you. Officer Dunn.
Thank you, Chairman. There's been a sentiment that's going around that says everybody's trying to make January 6th political. Well, it's not a secret that it was political. They literally were there to stop the steal. So when people say it shouldn't be political, it is. It was and it is. There's no getting around that. Telling the truth shouldn't be hard. Fighting on January 6th, that was hard. Showing up January 7th, that was hard. The 8th, the 9th, the 10th, all the way till today, that was hard. When the fence came down, that was hard. We lost a layer of protection that we had, and the fence came down and still nothing has changed. Everything is different, but nothing has changed. Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger are being lauded as courageous heroes. And while I agree with that notion, why? Because they told the truth? Why is telling the truth hard? I guess in this America, it is. Us 4 officers, we would do January 6th all over again. We wouldn't stay home because we knew it was going to happen. We would show up. That's courageous. That's heroic. So what I ask from you all is to get to the bottom of what happened. And that includes, like, I echoed the sentiments of all of the other officers sitting here. I use an analogy to describe what I want as a hitman. If a hitman is hired and he kills somebody, the hitman goes to jail. But not only does the hitman go to jail, but the person who hired them does. There was an attack carried out on January 6th, and a hitman sent them. I want you to get to the bottom of that. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. Very powerful comments, by the way.
Chairman Thompson,
Yes.
if I may add, I also would like to for you guys to give us the tools, or at least the things we need to succeed, to continue to protecting you guys. I think that's essential for you guys to provide us what we need in terms of like financially. I don't know, I'm not part of the innuendo about how that process works, but perhaps fortifying the Capitol, that will help. I know we were literally desperate. If we had that would have made a big difference on January 6th. I know people want to keep this place open to the public as much as possible, but there are things that we could do to remediate that, and also, or to reinforce entrances, whatnot. It's hard, but it takes will. I know I could tell the Capitol has some regulations and whatnot, but the time had passed. We still have security measure from 20 years ago. That had to go. We need to reinvent the wheel and change that. But only you guys have the power to authorize that. They won't do it unless you guys do. The other thing is, we still only operating on certain things that we could adjust, things that we were doing back when 9/11 happened. We're still doing it today, even 6 months after the attack on the Capitol. But only you, perhaps with the chief of police, the new chief of police, which he seems receptive to some of these changes, perhaps that would change. But we too, just like Officer Don said, we still doing things that prior to January 6th, we were doing it, and we're still doing it today. And I think that should change. Thank you.
Well, again, thank all of you for your testimony, and obviously you are real heroes in this situation. What you did in the committee's opinion helped preserve this democracy. The time you gave for reinforcements to finally get to the Capitol made the difference. So for that, we thank you. But you carried out your duties at tremendous risk. Now we on this committee have a duty, however, a far less dangerous one, but an essential one, to get to the bottom of what happened that day. We cannot allow what happened on January 6th to ever happen again. We owe it to the American people. We owe it to you and your colleagues, and we will not fail, I assure you, in that responsibility. Thank you again to our witnesses, as well as our distinguished colleagues of the committee. Any closing remarks? Without objections, members will be permitted 10 business days to submit statements for the record, including opening remarks and additional questions for witnesses, to appropriate staff at all meetings of the Select Committee. Without objection, the committee stands adjourned.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.